Welcome to Code Freedom. I'm your host, Eddie Bales. Have you ever felt stuck? Have you ever felt like there's got to be more than life than the reality that you see every day? Tune in weekly, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays as we crack the codes to freedom in every area of your life. I get a lot of people asking me how we were blessed to walk away from corporate America in our early 30s. Well, listen, I don't want to keep that a secret. I want to share it with the world. And so maybe you're listening to this podcast and you're trying to figure out, how do I even get started on my journey of entrepreneurship and getting to a level of freedom? Well, text the word freedom to 737-777 9909. Enter your information in, and we look forward to sharing some information with you. A proven system with small overhead, right? That you can do part-time, spare time, right from the comfort of your home, and have amazing mentors, coaches, and a community of entrepreneurs who are willing to support you and help you on your journey to freedom. Welcome to Code Freedom. This is your host, Eddie Bales, and this is episode 237. And today we're going to talk about the absolute best investment you could ever make. And that is when you invest in yourself. See, before you go clicking off, check this out. Let me tell you a quick story. There was a kid and his head was stuck in a rail, and his dad was sitting there trying to figure out, how do I get my son's head from in between the rails? So he's figuring out how he can grease his head, and he's trying to use his foot to pull the rail open and doing all this different stuff. And the son simply says, I can get out. And then he literally kind of wiggles his way, stands up, turns his body a certain way, and slides right on out. Easy, right? So the dad was struggling, but the son figured it out, how he could just slide his way through with his body. Right. And why do I tell you that story? Because, you know how people say the more money you make, the more problems you're going to have. Well, yes, you will have more challenges, right, at a higher level. However, you become a better person that can handle those challenges. See, the bigger we become, the smaller the challenges we have become as well, And so we have to invest in ourselves, whether it be books, audio, podcasts, YouTube, courses, coaches. There's so many different ways we can invest in ourselves, but it's the best investment because no one could ever take it away from us. Once we develop these skills and these new habits and things, we actually increase our capacity. We increase the amount of earning power that we have. We actually increase our value, right? Because see, people pay for value. So the more valuable you become, the more you become worth. Does that make sense? But if you can do things at a high level that most people can't do, then you've already separated yourself. So personal development is critical. I mean, literally, we are living in a time where we have access to YouTube and podcasts and information right at our fingertips, but yet a lot of times we'd rather be entertained. And hey, nothing wrong with being entertained. However, what if we could just be focused a little bit more on how we can grow ourselves by constantly having a regimen of personal development? What is your plan for growth? I mean, think about that. I heard that in a book. I read that in a book, and it really just kind of stopped me in my tracks because I'm thinking, wow, do I actually have a plan for growth? At that time, now, of course, I do, right? But most people, they just kind of just breeze through life, right? And hope that they get to a certain destination rather than saying, hey, this is my actual plan for growth, to make sure that I'm growing, to make sure that I'm becoming better, to make sure that I get to be a better husband for my family, to make sure that I get to be a better person in the community, and spiritually make sure that I'm growing, make sure that I'm being good for my body, right? And making sure that I'm learning things that can improve my body. Does that make sense? So my point is just that as we get better, everything around us gets better. It just does. And so the best investment, yes, the stock market, real estate, business, so many other different forms of investments are great. But when you become better, oh my gosh, all of those things become 10 times better because now you become the person that can handle those situations. See, when the challenges come, they just bounce right off you because you're so much bigger than those challenges. right? But see, the challenge here, or the issue, I should say, is that when we aren't working on ourselves and those challenges come, they take us out a lot of times. I can always tell because I can tell the the size of a person by the size of the challenges that they can overcome. And the reason why I can say that confidently is because sometimes I've seen people who've had a very minute situation take them completely out of the game. Whereas if they just had a little bit more personal development, personal growth that they were working on, then that issue would have been they could have just slid that thing out of the way and kept it moving. You see what I'm saying? So working on ourselves, becoming better. Here's what I would suggest: have a workout partner that's just dedicated for your personal growth. For instance, maybe you're part of a book club and you're bouncing ideas off of people. So now you have an accountability system to make sure you're reading the book because you're saying, hey, what did you get from this chapter? What did you get from that chapter? Right? By the way, we do book clubs in our Code Freedom podcast community. So plug into our Facebook group. You can see that down in the show notes, right? But just know that accountability is big, it's huge to making sure that you're on the path of self growth because it's so easy for us to get off track. It's so easy for us to um, every episode we talk about stretching ourselves and growing ourselves and becoming better. And I get it. You're busy, you're on the go. You don't always have time to stop and maybe read a book. Well, listen, I got the perfect thing for you. You're probably familiar with Audible. Audible is an audiobook service from Amazon, and they offer the world's biggest selection of books. I'm talking any book that I've recommended, and I've recommended a lot. You can get that book and you can listen to it on the go while you're in the car. Why not turn your car into Drive Time University? And for listening to this podcast, you can get your first 30 days free on us. So go to audibletrial.com/code freedom. That's audibletrial.com/code freedom. And we'll also put that in the show notes. Have you ever wanted to invest in the stock market, but you just didn't know which platform to use? Well, there's an easy app that I like to use. It's simple and it's free. It's called Robinhood. And if you go into our show notes, you actually can click on the link. You can set up an account. Again, it's free. And when you do that, once you set it up, you actually can get a free stock just for being a Code Freedom listener. And so, look, you can do short term trading, long term trading. You can buy options, and there's so many other little different things that you can do. So take advantage of it today, and let's get you on your course to investing. Just kind of coast and just let things be, let things happen versus saying, hey, look, I'm going to plant my flag and I'm going to make sure that I go in the direction that I want to go in, not just the way the wind is going to blow me. Because look, the wind is going to blow, trust me. And the same winds blow on all of us. But the direction that we decide to go in is based on how we set ourselves. You see what I'm saying? So we have to make those adjustments. We have to constantly be pouring into ourselves so we can constantly be pouring out to other people so we can increase our value. And now our value is so high that, when these challenges come, you're the right person for the job because you've handled it before. It makes me think about David and how David, he had been working on himself. He fought the lions and the tigers and the bears, right? And so when it came time to fighting Goliath, he was like, oh, I got this. This is in the bag. What do I get when I win? Right? Because he knew he could handle that because he had been working on himself. He had been in the lab working on himself so that, when he was able to be publicly displayed, he was able to knock that out. I was just watching a little bit of a documentary about Floyd Mayweather, and his training regimen. And it was just talking about how, he would leave a club or, some kind of social event and then go run 6 miles home. Who does that? Right? Most people won't run 1 mile. I don't run 1 mile sometimes, right? However, this gentleman is running 6 miles after the party. Think about that. That's just a different mindset. And so, of course, he is the number one sports earner in the world, right? Because just you want to study people like that. You want to look at, okay, what makes them different? What sets them apart from everyone else? And it's his work ethic. It's how he works on himself. You know what I mean? So again, personal development, we can't put a price tag on what we can gain from constantly working on ourselves. But I suggest a couple things. I suggest that you have a personal development regimen, like a plan for growth. You know what I mean? Like, okay, in the next 6 months, I want to be good in this area. I want to master this area. I want to hire the coaches that I need to hire. I want to read every book, listen to every audio I can get my hands on when it comes to marketing, when it comes to sales, when it comes to financing or budgeting, or maybe you want to learn another language. Maybe you want to play an instrument, right? I got a little guitar around here. I want to learn how to play that guitar, right? I want to become valuable. I want to be good at so many different things. I mean, don't get me wrong, master one thing, but understand that the better we become in certain areas, the rest is history. So I hope you guys get some value from this. This is a short episode today, but I think this can really catapult you. I know it can really catapult you, because you can be part of the 1% by doing 1% things. You can be a part of the 3% club by doing 3% things. See, understand the masses are not doing this stuff. The masses aren't reading books on personal growth and self-help and self-development. The masses are just focused on entertainment. So when you become the one that goes against the grain, that's when you start to become attractive, in the sense of not how you look and things of that nature, but who you are, what's your aura, how you carry yourself. And now people want to be involved in the things that you're doing. They want to be connected to you. They want to support your vision and your dreams and the things that you're going for, because they can see the growth in you. They can see how you're setting yourself apart from everyone else. And that's the key, is as we constantly continue to work on ourselves and invest in ourselves. Listen, don't be afraid to buy that course. Don't be afraid to get that coach. Don't be afraid to make that investment, because it's in you. No one's going to take that away from you. Once you get those skills, it's in you, right? And now you keep on growing and growing and growing. The next thing you know, you look back and you're like, my, if I hadn't invested in those type of things for myself, then I wouldn't be at this place, right? Another strategy I'll say as I close too is, you want to set aside a budget specifically for self growth, right? Have a specified budget for your game plan for growth. And hey, in the beginning, it may not be a lot. Maybe it'll be just getting books and listening to audios and things of that nature. But as you constantly work on yourself and grow, you can constantly increase that number. Maybe part of your budget is, you pay yourself 10%, right? And that may be for investment. But what if you had another percentage of your budget specifically for self-growth, so that you focus on how you're growing as a person, and now you're taking yourself to a whole nother level every single year. 1% changes, 1% differences, and now you set yourself apart from the masses. So listen, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you got a lot of value. Don't forget to subscribe to our channels and subscribe to the podcast. And we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. God bless. Take care. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you guys for listening. Definitely feel free to take a screenshot of this episode, tag me in it on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you find me on social media. I would love to give you a shout out. Hey, you might even get a prize. Who knows? But excited that you had a chance to take a listen. I hope you got a lot of value. And definitely feel free to give us 5 stars as well as a review. Show us some love, and we appreciate you. God bless you all, and see you all over the top.